Hey everyone, Zerua65 here, and today I wanted to make a little comparison video between Tommy's Omnibot and Radio Shack's Robie Sr. So as we know, with the Omnibot was released in 1984, which was of course a really popular toy back in the 80s. Just about most people at least had one growing up. I don't really exactly remember the price points between the Omnis and Robie, but as you can see here between them two, they look exactly the same. Oh, I forgot to mention that Robie Sr. was released in 1986. So not too long after these fellas were released. And I'm not sure if anyone has made a comparison. If someone has, please let me know. I've been trying to find some videos between the two and really didn't find anything. So, just by looking at the looks, they look practically identical, of course, with this one having a head. Entire head, ignore the missing arm. Usually they have the same set of hands and arms, all that stuff. Because, pretty much to put in perspective is, so Robie Sr. is still a Tomy robot. It's just the original version was called Heroid, and Sr. was pretty much a budget version. Pretty much an Omnibot transformed into about identical robot, but Heroid is about the same, just voice controlled, blue coloration, and a more sophisticated remote and programming. So they both, of course, rely on the same type of battery, same 6-volt battery. For the clock, Omnis use 2 AA's, while Rob here uses 1. Which I find interesting. And I think usually you can find seniors in better shape than Omnibots, because since these fellas, they tend to discolor pretty badly. And with Robbies, usually they're missing their dome on the face, which I can understand why, because these pieces come off, and if you don't remove them carefully, they will break, and next thing you'll have a visorless Robie. So something I recall asking in the Omnibot group I'm in, just to see if someone can give me any clarification about whether they're compatible remote-wise. Now, over the years of collecting robots, I know there are companies that tend to make a bootleg version of a robot, and sometimes they're compatible with each other's remotes, like Wowie's RoboSapien and Giaki's, I can't remember if it was Giaki's RoboActor or Fingwan's RoboWisdom. They're perfectly compatible via remotes, just depending on the generation. And then you got, what's it called? What was it one called? Oh yes, Learning Curve's V-Bot and Fingwan's changeable RC car, which they do the exact same thing, different music and different, things to them, but they're not compatible with remotes. So people had told me that more likely they would not be compatible. So I was like, okay, well, this one a friend got me in return for repairs. No remote, so I was like, okay, well, this one would just be a standby. Pretty much just decorational since I couldn't use it. And of course, since I do have an Omnibot remote on hand, to my surprise, it is compatible with it. And I'll go ahead and show you that right now. So, of course, this is Omnibot sounds. Top one here would actually make the face light up. Oh, why are you moving? There we go. And then the bottom one makes the sounds. Oh, so mine looks weird from the face and the mouth. Pretty much the chrome plating on the inside actually fell into the side of his head, so that's why he looks pretty silly. So it works with the remote. So if you end up finding a Robie Sr. and you already have an Omnibot with its remote, then you're set. Of course, most people want to complete these and have the original remote to the matching robot. But in this case, these suckers are expensive nowadays, especially for the 2K model. They're like $200. So it tends to be really difficult to source remotes, but thankfully it's the same. Even though, if you look at the chest, they are laid out entirely differently. So with Omnibot, you got your tri-switch and 3 buttons, T1, T2 alarm, and I think mode, and you got set. While with Senior, you got your tri-switch, but you also got another tri-switch for RC, program, and tape, and you got 2 buttons for hour, minute, and you got another switch, a quadruple switch for off, on, set, and time set. Of course, you still got your dials and such, and your microphone output is actually up here instead of being down here in the cassette area. While this one, the microphone jack goes here in the cassette deck. So I find that really interesting. Oh, that's where this went. I was wondering what happened to it. Gotta be on. Okay, you're off. So, if we look at the cassette deck, they're practically, ouch, the same layout. So of course, yes, they're the same layout. Although with this one, you don't have this little adjusting pot on this one. So they're built practically the same, but they have their own little differences. Now you're probably gonna, of course, some people will think that this video is kind of pointless, but I figure those would be a little helpful to people who know nothing about these. But I guess it makes sense with them being compatible, given the fact that Senior is still a Tomy robot, just rebranded and renamed to a more budget version of its older brother, Heroid. Which, of course, it makes sense it will be compatible. But either way, I felt like making this video just to entirely show that, hey, there's still hope for anyone. Because again, I'm with a lot of this whole generation that likes older stuff too, that's getting into older stuff, is going to want to get a hold of some of these robots. And like I said, if you get a remote with one or the other, and you want to get one of the other without remote, then you know what, you're still in luck. They work with each other, so that is great. I'll show this one more time. Let's see, you are in RC mode. This one I cannot have on RC mode, or else I'll start making him go backwards for no reason. Watch. Remote's off. He's currently in RC mode, and if I put him in RC mode... Oh. Well, I guess that stopped, so does that... Oh, no. Okay, so... if I turn the remote on, it'll do it. Which, I don't know why. If there's like interference, might be interference, I don't know. But if I put this one off, this is on, entirely fine. But what's weird is with this one, if I put it in RC mode, he still doesn't move and still just works normally. So it's crazy that this one here is the one that interferes, and I really do not know why. And also another characteristics is that the base under here is black, and the bumpers, okay, to pretty much put it in a full perspective how this one is a budget version, this here usually on your Omnis would have this all entire rubber. These are all plastic. These here are rubber. So they definitely cheapened out on this one, so I'm almost positive this one's price point had to be cheaper than the Omnibot. But like I said, they're practically made by the same company. I mean, Tomy made them because of Heroid, and they were like, hey, can we make a cheaper version of the Heroid? It looks cooler, in our opinion, so that's why they made this. That's why there's not a Radio Shack version of the Omnibot. But yet there's two Heroid / Seniors. You got Heroid and you got Senior. Same robot. Just with Heroid, it has the backplate of what looks to be from a 2K, so for sensors and such. And that's eventually what they did with Omnibot Mark II. It also uses that same backplate for additional sensors and such. Well, I guess that covers it all. I hope this video has been useful to you guys, and let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna go ahead and start work on him because I need to fix him up and clean him. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.